Hi, thank you so much for joining me for this next recording on verbs. Today we're going to learn about verb identification, linking, and helping. So again, the agenda is verb identification, linking verbs, helping verbs, and then of course we will apply our knowledge through some practice. So what is a verb? A verb is a word that shows an action or a state of being. In other words, verbs explain what something is or is doing. So in this first example here, we have he ran quickly. So that one is definitely an example of an action verb. So he's running, that's the action. In the second one, we have he is happy. Well, is not an action that we do physically, but because is connecting the subject with the condition of that subject, we call it a state of being verb. So now we know that he is happy. Here are some examples of action verbs: coughed, ran, swallowed, clap, awake, ride, and sang. Okay. All right, here's a little way to help you find the verb of a sentence. First, you want to locate the subject of the sentence. Then ask yourself, what is it doing? Once you have that answer, you've identified your verb. So look at the sentence. The dog barked. Who barked? The dog. So barked is our action and dog is our subject. So dog is the blue underlined part. What did the dog do? It barked. So again, that's our verb. So just by using this question, you can help narrow down what the actual verb is in a sentence. So the verb is barked and it's what the dog is doing. Good doggy. All right, let's do another one. The big lion roared loudly. So who roared? The lion. So lion is going to be our subject. And what did the lion do? It roared, and that's going to be our verb. Whoops. Okay. So who is the lion? What did the lion do? It roared, which makes that our verb. So the verb is roared and it's what the lion. All right, let's try one more. The lighthouse shines brightly. What shines brightly? The lighthouse, okay? So we found our subject. Okay. And what does the lighthouse do? It shines. So we found our verb. So the verb is shines and it's what the lighthouse does. There are many kinds of verbs. Here are some I want you to know. Action and linking verbs and helping and main verbs. So as we've already said, an action verb shows action. It shows what someone or something is doing. In this example, the boy swam in the lake. So swimming is an action. And then linking verbs, if you recall, connect the subject to a word or words that are describing the subject. So in this particular sentence, we said the man is funny. So is a linking verb and it's linking man with funny. It's telling us something about the condition of this man. This here is our forms of be that we have as options, okay? So you want to substitute one of those words for the verb and see if it makes sense. If the sentence still makes sense, it's usually a linking verb, and if the sentence doesn't make sense, it's usually an action verb. And just keep in mind that the forms of be and seem are always linking verbs. So let's look at this example. Joe plays baseball. This one is clearly an action verb, right? We don't even have any linking or helping verbs in there. But look at what happens if we change is in place of plays. we want to see if it still makes sense. So Joe is baseball. That doesn't make sense. So we know we have an action verb. Even though this was pretty straightforward, we know plays is a physical verb, but still it's more about teaching you the technique. So again, if you want to know if it's an action verb or a linking verb, take the verb and switch it out for a form of the verb be. And then once you put that into the sentence, see if it makes sense. Look at this one here. The roses look pretty. So let's change that to one of the verb forms of be. So are is one of those. Okay, main verb. Some sentences have several verbs working together to mean one thing. The main verb is the verb that's most specific about what the subject is or is doing. So, in this first sentence, it says the girl could have gone to the zoo. When sentences have several verbs working together, the helping verbs are the verbs that help the main verb. So just like we had seen in the previous screen, the girl could have gone to the zoo, main verb, helping verbs. The dog may eat dinner soon, main verb, helping verb. Here are some helping verbs that you might want to jot down and keep handy so that it will be easy for you to identify these when you come across them in sentences. Now do note that some helping verbs can also be linking verbs. How do you know which is which? Well, you have to see how they're being used in the sentence. In this first one it says the boy is funny. This is a linking verb because boy is being linked to the descriptive word funny. But in the second example, the boy is running. This is a helping verb because is helps running make sense. An easy tip to remember, when trying to decide if a word is a helping verb or a linking verb, ask yourself these two questions. Are there other verbs in the sentence? And is this verb helping the other verbs make sense? If the answer to these two questions is yes, then you have a helping verb on your hands. Oh, and I have a typo. This should say then, not than. Which sentences have linking verbs? Look at these four examples. She is a wonderful sister. My wonderful sister tries to sing. These flowers are gorgeous. These gorgeous flowers fell down. Which of these have linking verbs? I hope you said A and C because you would be correct. The other two, B and D, have actual verbs in them, physical verbs. So linking verbs only exist in A and C. So let's recap. In this lesson we went over verb identification, linking verbs, helping verbs, and we applied our knowledge with some practice. If you have any questions at all, please do reach out. Thank you so much for listening.